Okie dokie, welcome back to That's Just My Opinion. I am Merlin, and right now we are going to be talking about the third series of the Night Huntress universe, Night Rebel. Books 1 and 2, the series is currently ongoing. Book 3 is scheduled to come out in February, so look forward to that in February. So, Book 1 is called Shades of Wicked, and Book 2 is Wicked Bite. This book focuses on Ian and Veritas as our two main leads. We start out with book 1, Veritas going to find Ian because she needs him to take out this demon Dagon who she's got a serious personal beef against. She finds Ian in a brothel having a carnival themed orgy because that's just how Ian do. So they end up forming a kind of reluctant partnership of we both want to take this guy out, so we'll work together, all the while fighting the attraction. So they agree to work together to try to hunt down Dagon, leading to them on this chase of trying to find him. During this, there's a point where they end up getting caught together by some of Veritas's fellow law guardians, and they're just like, oh, what's going on? And they basically, the only way to get around it is to say that they're married, and they do a whole vampire marriage ceremony, so they are legally married. Goody goody gumdrops, Ian has become what he's never wanted to be, a married man. But of course, they're deeply attracted to each other, and you start picking into Veritas that she's got her own secrets, and that secret is that she's a half breed, but she's not a half breed like Kat was. No, her dad is a god. Veritas is a demigod. Her father, who we have met before, is the warden of the gateway to the Netherworld. Menkeri summoned him back in his standalone book to, help out with some stuff. He is the warden of the gateway, and Veritas is his daughter. So, she's got some issues, and you find out that with her past was that she can't die. That every time she dies, she comes back. I mean, even if you staked her with silver and twisted the knife, she bounces back from that, and she sees her father every time. So she's like, okay, that's her damage, and Ian, of course, being Mr. I collect the rare and exotic, is just like, I hit the jackpot! But he does actually end up coming to care for Veritas for who she is and everything. It's very sweet. The ending showdown is them fighting Dagon, the demon that they both want to take out, because if they kill him, that gets Ian out of his soul deal, and then Veritas gets her revenge. So they do, but tragedy strikes and Ian dies during the final confrontation, and Veritas loses her shit and summons dear old daddy. Because Dagon has been pulling some no-nos for demons. He has been hoarding souls of people he's collected, which is apparently something you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to send those to the higher-ups. So the warden says, okay, I will. He ends up, Veritas convinces him to release Ian's soul, but to do that, he also has to release all the other souls too. So he says, I'll do this for you, but you have to go hunt down all the evil souls that Dagon releases and, save them, and Dagon also isn't going to die. So she's like, okay, sounds fair. Ian gets resurrected, but he also loses all of his memories of his time with Veritas. So Veritas drops his butt back off in a brothel with Bones, so Bones can explain to him the gaps in his memory over the last month. But of course, Ian still kind of remembers that. Dear old dad shows back up and says, like, okay, I can give you some of your memories back, but it might break your brain. And Ian's like, bring it on, dude. So he does, and he remembers Veritas a little bit, and he goes, all right, I gotta go get my wife back. And I think that might actually be the beginning of book 2. Literally book 1 and book 2 pick up pretty back to back from each other. Book 2, Ian gets part of his memories back. Veritas is out hunting down these resurrected souls. She's not having a lot of luck with it. And then she gets summoned to the Vampire High Council because Ian is suing them. Because he's claiming that they are forcibly keeping Veritas away from him. Ian going for the big dick move of suing the Vampire High Council. So she ends up coming back to him. He's I remember some things, and one of the things he tells her is like, do you remember my last words to you? And she's just like, yes, because he said, again, he had demon bone knives like punctured through his brain at this point, so it came out all garbled, but he said, as she thought, could have loved you. And she realizes that she was kind of in love with him, so kind of ripping her up, and he's like, I don't remember what I said, but I remember that I love you. And they kind of end up getting back together. It's really sweet. So now, of course, the hunt is on again to find and kill Dagon, because they got to put that guy in the ground. So they end up getting the help of Asael again, the demon I mentioned back in Night Prince, because you find out that Asael also has a little bit of a secret. He is also not just a demon, he is also the child of the Warden of the Gateway. Yep, Warden apparently was getting his freak on not only with demons but with humans too, so Veritas and Asael are half siblings. It's kind of cute because they both talk about how they've always wanted to have a sibling, and now they do. So Asael sends Ian on this kind of suicide mission to pick up this relic, which you find out is Cain's horn, because apparently this underground tomb, or this underwater tomb, Ian runs into his old friend Timothy. I know I really haven't mentioned him up till this point, but there were, between Ian, Spade, and Bones, there was a fourth guy, Timothy. Timothy kind of went off the deep end and became a zealot for Cain, because vampire origin story is Cain was the original vampire, and that they think this is his body, and they're trying to resurrect him with possibly the blood of a tribred. Future nuggets for a future series, I believe, here. So Ian ends up getting this horn, which literally like wraps around his bicep, and it can like turn into like kind of whatever he needs, like kind of a sword sort of thing. And it can also kill anything, because this is a weapon forged by the gods. This is not a man-made weapon. So Asael agrees to help them out and get them to a demon who might be able to put a spell on Ian to track Dagon's power, so they can try to find Dagon and others who have turned him. When they get to this demon prince, they end up also running into this woman that Veritas knew from when she was human, who was a servant of Dagon's. Yeah, she's evil, and Veritas doesn't kill her when she has the chance, and then kicks herself for it later. Anyway, throughout all this, Ian and Veritas end up confessing that they are in love with each other. It's very sweet. Ian is saying that, he loves Veritas for who she is, all parts of her, because Veritas is kind of dealing with some split personality issues in this one with her divine side. She kind of views as evil, but that gets rectified by the end. So they end up setting up a trap for Dagon. They fight him. Things get pretty dicey for a minute, but then Veritas releases her full power and rips Dagon's soul out of him and sends him to the netherworld in front of the entire vampire council, who are now going, well, she's going to be executed because, oh yeah, she's different. She is a hybrid, therefore she must die. Yeah, the vampire council kind of has a thing about hybrids. So Veritas tells Ian, it's okay, get out of here, call me, because she gave him, because of her divine nature, you can do like a summoning spell for her. So she's like, he can basically bounce her out of wherever she's being captured. So while she's waiting for the council to get a ride, because they're in the middle of nowhere, this literal god shows up. Again, I don't remember what his name is, but he's like a minor Greek deity of the dawn. And he shows up and he's just like, hello, Veritas. And she's just like, who are you? And he's like, how do you not know me? And she's just like, never met ya? And he's like, oh, by the way, I'm your betrothed. You were promised to me. You are the daughter of the river between this life and the next. And she's like, huh? What? So right then she gets summoned by Ian, so she gets bounced out of there. She, Asael, and Ian are all together, and she's just like, Asael, you gotta tell me everything about our father and his world right now, because this guy just showed up. And Asael's like, what? He did? Dad put a spell on you so you couldn't be found. And so there is our setup for book 3, that we're going to be dealing with some celestial shenanigans, because yeah, this god apparently wants his bride, and Ian is obviously not going to stand for that. So there's our setup for book 3, which will be coming out in February. Very much looking forward to it. Overall, Night Rebel, I give it 4 out of 5. Very enjoyable. I really like Ian and Veritas a lot more than I thought I would. Very enjoyable, very fun. But hey, if you disagree with me, that's totally cool. That's just my opinion. And if there's something you'd like to see me take a crack at in the future, leave your comments down below, and I will talk to you guys in a little while.